Now, folks, very quickly, there was a Green Beret ordered discharged after he and his team leader, I'm reading from Fox News, body slammed an alleged Afghan child rapist, and they're speaking out against the Army's effort to punish him, and he wants to fight to stay in the service. Kicking me out of the Army is morally wrong, and the entire country knows it, Sergeant First Class Charles Martland said in his first public statement on the case. The detailed written statement requested by Representative Duncan Hunter was shared by the Congressman's office. Martland's case has received renewed attention amid recent reports on the U.S. military's handling of child abuse allegations involving Afghan allies. In his statement, Martland gives a blunt account of the September 2011 encounter with the brutal child rapist, local police commander Abdul Rahman. He acknowledges the confrontation, but suggests the commander exaggerated his injuries and argues the boy's safety as well as American lives was at stake that day. Martland said the Afghan local police had been committing atrocities, raising concerns that many locals viewed as worse than the Taliban. And if locals returned to the Taliban, attacks against U.S. forces would increase. His team leader, Captain Dan Quinn, also submitted a separate statement together. The accounts provide new and graphic details. And I invited Captain Dan Quinn to come onto the program, and Captain Quinn is with us. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks. How you doing, Mark? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing well, and first of all, I want to thank you for your service, and God bless you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I would like you to tell us exactly what happened, if you can.
Sure, no problem. Charles and I were out on a mission, and we got a call from our interpreter at our camp saying that a boy and his mother had just come to our base, and they had visible signs of assault and rape. The boy was limping, and the mother had a pretty bad black eye. And they had said that the boy was abducted by one of our local police commanders, Abdul Rahman, who chained him to a bed for 10 days to 2 weeks and raped him repeatedly. And when the mother tried to come and intervene, she was beaten as well. And then once they were eventually released, they came to our camp saying that they tried the local government, and they knew that they weren't going to get anywhere with the local government, and the only people that could help them out were us. And they requested assistance and just asked for our protection. So we then called the local commander Abdul Rahman and invited him to our camp. He came. We told him about the allegations against him, and he acknowledged them and said yes, that is true, that did happen. And when we started talking about how disgraceful this was, he started laughing in our face. And at that point, I picked him up, threw him onto the ground. Charles followed suit, and we both did this for a few minutes, and eventually, carried him out of our camp, and I threw him out of our gate and out of our front gate, and told him that if he ever went near that boy or his mother again, that there was going to be severe consequences. And that's the incident itself. And then shortly thereafter, we got a call from some of the other American forces in our area saying that they had heard about the incident and kind of requested, came with clarification, and I admitted to it freely and said yes, that's what happened, and here's why I did it. And the next day, a helicopter came, picked Charles and I up. We were leads of our command, and we were spent a few weeks kind of going around from our company to our battalion headquarters throughout Afghanistan, and then we were eventually sent home early, and were not able to complete our mission.
Well, what did they accuse you of?
Of assault. It was conduct unbecoming of an officer for myself, and for Charles it was of a non-commissioned officer, and just because we assaulted a local policeman, regardless of what he had done previous to that point.
You roughed the guy up. That's what you did. It happens every day in the United States of America, and a lot worse if some guy's raping a little boy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact is, a lot of this goes on, doesn't it? And you guys are told to stand down and pretend it's not happening. It
does. Yeah, this was the third or fourth instance of a sexual assault within our local police force. And as I said, like the worst instance previous to this one was one of our other commanders raped a 14-year-old girl when she was working in the fields. We brought it to the local local provincial police, and they found him guilty, and he was sentenced to 1 day in jail. And then upon his release from jail, the girl, because she was no longer virgin and was now unsuitable to be married, was faced with either marrying the commander that raped her or of killing herself. So she chose to marry the guy that had raped her, and had to spend the rest of her life living with a man that had brutally raped her. So we certainly didn't trust the Afghan local government to do the right thing, and our higher command said that we have to go. Everything has to be through the local police and local government and their judicial system, and we knew that had we done that, this boy and his mother would have been in severe trouble again, and we couldn't just stand by and blame the local government.
No, you're Americans. That's what Americans do. You're a red-blooded Yank. That's what we do. Some puke is molesting a boy, raping a boy. We step in and we do something about it. What's bothering me here is, do we know where this order comes from, where you're supposed to pretend this isn't going on?
I don't know where it originated. I know that was coming down from our from our task force command. And after the incident with the 14-year-old girl, when she was raped, and my commander called me and and praised me for showing restraint, and he did empathize that it had to be a terrible situation, but just said that our orders are to do everything through the government, and that's all you could do, and made sure that there wasn't going to be any repercussions against the individual that raped the girl, and that if the Afghan local government already gave him his punishment, that's what this punishment was, and we can't go above and beyond that.
Well, I don't know why.
Yeah, no.
It's a state of war, is it not?
Correct.
So all of a sudden, if our so-called allies are raping and maiming, we're supposed to just stand still and honor their rule of law? That isn't rule of law. That's raping and maiming.
Exactly. And to blame it on a cultural difference or anything else, it's. I mean, you've just being over there, you see the look in these in these kids' eyes, and it just you can just tell that. I mean, their soul has been taken, and they've gone through a traumatic life experience, and it's not a. You can't just blame that on a cultural misunderstanding. That's a human rights violation, and certainly Charles and I felt compelled to prevent it as much as we could.
Now, you were the team leader, correct?
Yes, I was. Charles was the highest-ranking non-commissioned officer. He was the highest-ranking sergeant on our base, and I was the officer.
So you're the captain. He's the sergeant, first class, and you're both being drummed out of the military.
Well, after we got back to the United States, we were told that it wasn't going to be career-ending. My enlistment period was up about 7 months after that, so I opted to get out of the military at that point. Charles was given the option to re-enlist, which he took. However, because of the recent military drawdown, they're now going back and looking at anyone that has any kind of black mark on their record is coming under scrutiny, and they're not even examining the rest of the soldiers' military record.
So Charles is being drummed out of the military.
Correct. He's being drummed out, despite the fact that his record is literally impeccable. You won't find any evaluation short of that he is one of the best soldiers in the Army, and they're not looking at that. He was recently rated number 2 out of 400 instructors in all of the special forces training instructors. So there's 400 instructors training new Green Berets, and Charles was rated the second best one of all his instructors. So
How old is Charles?
Charles is 32 years old.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to give him a dishonorable discharge?
It's not dishonorable, but there would be a code in there that would prevent him from ever coming back into the military or from another government position again. So if he wants to join the FBI or any kind of government position, there would be a code in there that would prevent him from doing so.
This is so disgusting. It's beyond belief. As soon as I read this thing, I said I needed to speak to you guys.
He'll be successful wherever he goes if this doesn't go through, but he was born to be a soldier. That's what he loves to do. That's what our country needs him to do. And that's why, we're just fighting to keep him in uniform and to keep him serving our country. And all he wants to do is continue to wear the uniform, continue to serve our country, and do the right thing. He's not asking for any kind of financial compensation or anything like that. He just wants to continue to lead soldiers and to serve his country.
I feel like here we have Charles being treated this way, and you were treated this way. And yet the guy that goes AWOL, in my humble opinion, he goes to his parents are at the White House. They're talking him up. Maybe he had a certain type of mental problem or syndrome over there, and so forth. And wagons around. We have you guys repeated rape. You call on the police commander. What are you going to do about it? And you ought to do about it. And he's lucky you didn't do more.
Right, and it wasn't like it was an emotional outburst by. All we were doing was making sure that he understood, and that the rest of the commanders and the rest of the province understood that this type of behavior will not be tolerated. And as long as we're here and you're working with us, we're not going to let this happen.
So is it the position of the Obama administration then that if men are raping little boys in Afghanistan and our soldiers hear it, they're just to put cotton in their ears and pretend it's not going on? Is that our position?
Indirectly, our position, the standard line was, everything's got to be reported through the local government, and I had put each day our team writes a little report of kind of everything going on in our area, and I put all the previous sexual assaults and abuses in our area in those reports, and they had fallen on deaf ears. So it wasn't like we had been gaining any traction, and I tried to make a bigger deal of it, and it just, like I said, it fell on deaf ears. It was kind of more, it's their culture.
But before we run out of time, because I'm about to, Captain Dan Quinn, where are these orders written down? Where are they coming from?
They were. I do not have any. This was all on secret emails and all that. But no, I don't have any official orders. I know that. My battalion commander, Colonel Stephen Johnson, has been quoted as to giving the gist of these orders in a few publications, and his stance was that we can't impose American values on the Afghan culture. Was his reaction to what we did.
Well, we're not imposing our values on the Afghan culture, but we're not going to sit around and listen to these guys doing this stuff while they're on our base or outside the base.
Exactly, yes. And we're not trying to change the culture. We're preventing them from committing human rights violations.
That's some culture, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Captain, you're retired now, correct?
Yes, yeah, I'm out of the military now.
I want to thank you for your service. I want to send you a copy of Plunder and Deceit. Not that that does anything for you. But I do want Mr. Producer, my producer, and you to exchange numbers. If there's anything I can do for Charles, because we're unable to contact him right now, you let us know. Okay. But you are a great spokesman for him.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it. And the biggest thing you can do is just kind of keep the momentum on the story going and make sure your listeners, the best thing you can do is write your congressman. Work with Congressman Duncan Hunter is really taking the lead on this, and just keep the letters coming in. Like I've said, Charles and I really appreciate all the support that we've gotten on this issue, and let's kind of keep the momentum on the powers that be to change the situation and keep Charles in uniform.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Where are you now? Is that where you live in New York?
Yes, yeah. I'm out in Bayshore on Long Island.
Now, you need to move to a Republican part of the country and run for office.
I don't know if I have that in me.
Yeah, but you do, and we need you. And then you can really do something about this. God bless you. Thanks for your service, my friend.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it again. Thank you very much.
All right, take care. So let's just recap. Our young men and women, but on the battlefield in combat, and on our bases, are told that if you become aware of violations of human rights, you hear them, you see them, don't do anything. If a police commander grabs some kid from a family, ties him to the end of his bed, which is what he did, keeps him there for 10 days or 2 weeks, and repeatedly rapes him, turn the other way. I want to know who's giving this order, because we Americans don't turn the other way. And this piece of crap is lucky he was just roughed up. I'll be right back.